Hello, welcome back to my channel. I have a seemingly really odd assortment of things on my desk, or two things. Some tags that I created yesterday, and half a Halloween candy box. If you're like I am, you might not have recycled yours yet, or more likely if you are like I am, you chose 100% not to recycle it because cardboard. So what I did yesterday, just playing around, is I made two little, almost like journal cards, using these end bits from the cardboard box. And then I collaged on the center bit and cut them up and got, I think this was like one of these side panels for this one. And then from the main bit, I got these three. Oh, okay. These three, and then this one maybe. I can't remember exactly how I did it. Something like that, perhaps. But basically what I did is I just did some collaging, cut it into little bits and pieces, did more, like put some fussy cuts on one of them, added a little hole reinforcer at the top, and then on the back, all I did on these is just use a little bit of paper and just cover them. These are the digitals that I created for my botanical journal. But you could use any paper on top of these at all, like any paper. So I thought, we all know how to collage, like it's nothing unusual. But what I thought I would do is just show you kind of how I cut it apart, speed up some collage work, and then maybe embellish the ones that I've already collaged rather than farting around with collage work. So what I did is on your box, similar to when you're doing something on a scoreboard, you can see that there's a little ridge where the fold is on a box. So this little ridge here. So what I did is I used my ruler butt up all the way against the ridge and use that kind of as a marker for where I wanted to cut these flaps off. And like I said, I haven't thrown these away yet. Some of them I used already. The other ones I'll just sit over at the side until I determine whether I want to use them or not. And I'm not too concerned at this point in time whether I've cut completely square, because in the end you can square it up when you cut them into tags from like into smaller bits after you've done all your collage work. And like this one, for example, in and of itself, I would trim off, like if I was using this piece, I would trim off the little folds for the score so that it's flat 100% front and back. Because right now you have a little ridge right here at the edge. That's why I cut it like this, so that I have no ridge. Now the other thing that I did when I did mine is I didn't worry at all about the color on the front. And you can see, because you're using copy paper, it shouldn't show through when you have finished gluing whatever it is that you're putting on there. But if you've got small little bits that show through, you can add either more paper or inking. Although if you're using something like this one that's bright red and it shows through your paper, I would be inclined to add a second bit of paper rather than more of a different. Oh, oh no, I showed you these. Did I show you these? Yes, I showed you these. So I showed you that one and that one. I'm going to move those out of the way so I remember I showed you those. So I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to use this for my Christmas kit, for that, the Rach and Bella for the Nostalgic Noel. So I'm going to get the papers and let's do some collaging. Now, for something like this, you could 100% use these pre-collage papers like these and just glue straight on. Determine which direction you want your tags to run. I would go top to bottom because that's a good height for a tag. So I would, if I was going to do this, trim off all the white, glue it down, glue another sheet beside it, if you were going to use just that paper, which would work completely. It would be your easiest, like 100% your easiest way to do it. But I never do anything the easy way. All right, so these are papers. These are all from, there are 2 background paper kits, and I printed a number of pages from both background kits, but not only that. I've printed a whole bunch of stuff because I just am in love with all of these. So I'm going to stop talking and speed this up. When I'm doing collage work, I don't worry about up and down because a lot is going to depend upon how you cut your tag. And I mean, if you've got a small bit left over, like when you're cutting, I always cut from the back so I don't see what I've got on the front, so I'm not precious about where I cut. So there's less wastage that way. And it also means, like, let's say I put this here like this, it could wind up that because of the size of the tag, that's cut right in half. If I put it this way, it could be cut in half. So I don't go, oh my gosh, I can't put that there like that because it's not up and down or right way up, because to me there is no right way up when I'm collaging. Now I'll go back to fast forward again. Okay. So, I now have a huge mess on my desk. And a master board. Normally, I don't do a master board at this point in time. I wait until almost the very end. Because when I am doing anything, I wind up with kind of a bin of leftover bits of paper from cutting down journal pages or making flips and I didn't need everything, or printing too much and now I've got too much. So from here, you could leave this under a mat to dry for a little while, but it feels like it's not too bad. It's a little bit curled, but it's not bad. And then for the backing, I will back it once I've cut it into tags. So I'm going to get my Fiskars. Sorry if this makes a lot of noise. I got this at the thrift store for like $3, $4. One of the best things. I would say the best thing I ever found at a thrift store, but I keep finding other best things. I went to the thrift store this past weekend, and all of us, we use vellum and love vellum. So I'm just going to cut these into 3-inch because I like that tag size. The blade does need replacing in this, so I score a few times. Normally I don't look. I did flip that over, but I do try to not look until I'm just at the end. So this is where I got the little ones, because when I cut the 3-inch, you'll see that this piece is now not cut off, about 1.5 inches wide, which is too narrow for a tag. Like, you could do that as a tag, but it's really tall and skinny. So let's cut that approximately in half, which is probably about 3 inches. I'm just going to eyeball it because I think that's going to be fine. So let's have a look. I'm going to put that down on my garbage can. So now I can't throw anything in my garbage can because it has a rotary cutter on top of it. So from here, what I do when I'm looking is I determine what would be up and down. So I have a corner chomper like this with the little notchy edges. And then I have, oh, that's a corner rounder. And then I have this one with the like angles. Or you could cut it with your scissors, flip it over and cut it the other way. This one I'll put that upside as the top. This is the top because it says Merry Christmas and it would be funny. And that's a tree, so I think I mentioned this one other time. I go kind of weight. And to me, dark is heavier, and I want my heavier at the bottom of a piece. But it's personal preference for you. Like, if you like it that your dark is at the top and your light is at the bottom, by all means do it that way. But I would prefer for this one that this be the top. So then I would just come in here and notch like so. And I do tend to like small notches on my tags. And then for this one, what I would do is I would use probably my, I've got this corner rounder that I found at the thrift store. I've got my Bira Bira punch. It's my notch punch. It comes with their mini scoreboard, and it's got a corner rounder on it. It's meant for making envelopes. That's what this is for. And then I found this at a thrift store, and it's a very small corner rounder. Doesn't always work with really heavy stuff. Yeah, not going to work. Not going to work. Sorry about that noise. That's going to be full on annoying. I find my Bira Bira cuts through pretty much everything. Now these are pretty heavy because you're using basically a cardboard box. You could use a cereal box if you don't have a Halloween candy box. The advantage to using a cereal box is most of them are brown on the inside. Oh, right. I can't use my garbage can. I have a cutter on the top of it. So from here, you'll notice I didn't cut those in half, so one is bigger than the other. Because, yeah, I can eyeball, but not very well. So you could put, like, one of your little, like, you could cut one of these and put that on there. That would be so, oh, that would be so cute. That would be so cute. Let me fussy cut. Oh, man, those are so cute. So, they even fit sort of, kind of, more or less. I think I like them on there the best. But they're a little bit wide, just a little bit wide, and I don't want to cut their arms off. So I don't think I printed any of the fussy cuts, but let me have a look. Might still wind up using this one, might. Although like I said, I don't like the fact that it cuts off. Nobody deserves to have their arm cut off. And they're too cute. Like, they're just so cute. And then in the fussy cuts, I didn't see this one. So if you were wanting to use something like that, you could shrink down that collage page that they're on to a smaller size so that they actually fit. And these ones as well, you could shrink them down so that they fit. They're a little bit wide. Or you could do your card that way and make sure that you cut it so that it was actually either A, wide enough or tall enough for them to fit. Put those there so I don't lose them. So I think what I'm going to use are these two because they're very nostalgic and they're the kind of thing I really, really love. So I know these are vintage. They're my Crane scissors. They are absolutely my favorite fussy cutting scissors because they have a needle point and they get into little nooks and crannies very easily. And I got them at the thrift store, so I'm not that worried about damaging them. And they were already, the tip of them is bent, and one of the blades is broken, and they came like that. So I'm not that worried about wrecking them because they were not in perfect condition. If they had been in really good condition, I probably wouldn't use them for fussy cutting. The other pair of scissors that I got that work really well for fussy cutting are these pink ones that I got at Dollar Tree. They don't sell them anymore like this, But they, again, they have that needle nose tip, really small blade, and they cut really well. But I do tend to, when I'm doing something that has all kinds of like little innie and outie bits like this, use these. I'm going to pause it while I fussy cut. Okay. That could go on there. Could go on there. Oh, I think it goes on there the best. I like that one on there because there's enough contrast for the snowman to stand out, and to me it doesn't matter if the blue from the snowman kind of blends in a little bit to the blue from this piece of paper, because it looks almost intentional. And then the other thing I'm going to do, these were freebies from last Friday, when Rachel did her numbered tags, and I printed them 2 to a page. If you need to know how to do these, let me know and I can show you. I can do a still shot of how I do 2 to a page. Taking into consideration I'm using a Mac, and it could be different if you're using a PC. I've used a PC, but I haven't used a PC in about, I don't know, maybe 20 years or something. Let's put Merry Christmas on there. Let's put the 25th. Well, I guess not Merry Christmas, the 25th. So I'm going to give you a little hint for fussy cutting. Small scissors for small fine details. Don't use your big scissors unless you want to do a long straight cut like that, because you can use the force of your blade to cut straight against whatever it is that you're cutting. But if you use a big pair of scissors like this, which are kind of like, these are not dressmaking scissors. They don't have the right handle for them. These are just a standard pair of, like, they'd be for paper, basically, is what they're for. The blade is really long, so if you're trying to get into a section like these little arms on your snowman, you'll cut them off without even seeing that you did it, because the blade of your scissors is too big. You want a small blade for small work. A big blade for long, big things. Hope that made some kind of modicum of sense. Sometimes I think things in my head and I believe they make sense, and then somebody will post underneath and they'll say, that made no sense. And I'll be like, I did it again. I called something it isn't. I left out bits of information. Part of it is how I learned things as a kid. I'm a bit of an intuitive learner, and a lot of things that I've done, like sewing and knitting, and a lot of my craft work I've done since I was so small, I don't actually remember learning how to do it. And it's really hard to let somebody else know how to do a thing when you don't know all the steps of how you learned how to do a thing. There are steps that are important in process, and I don't know what they are because I just do them. And so my apologies if I come across as really unclear. If I do, please ask for clarification in the comment section, because it helps me to slow down and think about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and try to make it a little clearer for people who have maybe never done a thing, where I'm just like second nature, done it forever, think I know everybody knows how to do it, and not everybody does. So yeah, anyway. When I'm gluing on something like these fingers that are very, very fragile, if your fingers kind of, they go out that way. So when you're pressing down on the glue, you want to kind of move from the inside to the outside so that you're pushing down your fingers, or whatever the fragile bit is, from the inside to the outside of that fussy cut. If you come this way, you'll munch up your little fiddly bits, and this gives you the ability to put like really delicate bits of ephemera on things. That's why, like, I kiss cut everything, absolutely everything. It's one of the reasons I don't ink, because I go to all that work of cutting all that out. I'm wanting it to kind of blend into the background and look like it's part of that whole collage from beginning to end. So if I ink it, it's going to pop out. By all means, do that if that's what you want. If you want that to pop out, ink it. I don't, so I don't ink. But I have discovered, going back to these that I did yesterday, look at how gorgeous those are with a little bit of ink. And I'm not an inker. Like, I don't ink. But the core of these is like white, like super white. And little bits of red show through because it's like a box. And I wanted it to look a little bit more grungy and vintage because it was steampunk. And so I pulled out, pardon me while I put my pin in my glue so that, well, I might have been too late. Put my pin in my glue. Yeah. Try to do that again. I'm going to blame the fact that I forgot my pin out of my glue overnight yesterday and didn't even realize it until recently. So from here, I can ink. I use a blending brush. I got these at Dollarama. Dollar Tree. Sorry, Dollar Tree. Dollarama doesn't carry makeup brushes. I don't think Dollar Tree does anymore either. But I think you can get them on Amazon like this. They're super for blending. I'm going to try to round the corner with this one, the 7 centimeter. Oh, it worked. Sorry about that noise. That's, you're probably all deaf now. So I'm kind of working at it so that I can see that the white of that edge is gone. Oh. And here's a really good place to find out where some of your little pieces of paper haven't fully glued down when you did your collage work, and to hit them with a little bit of extra glue, because you want all those little collagey bits to stick. Oh, and the other thing that you can do is that you can put the pin back in your glue, and then you can, where is it? Which one was I thinking? You could take a paper like this, which is a little bit paler There are so many background pages. There are 2 kits. I'd have to look again, but I think it's like 25 pages each. And they're all on sale as long as the collaboration is going. So I will put the link in the description box below, but definitely go check out Rach and Bella's Ko-fi site for her pages. There are so many, and every single one of them is absolutely gorgeous. Very vintage. They're so beautiful. So I'm going to use glue stick, even though I hate glue stick and it never works properly for me because it doesn't like me. I do find that when I'm gluing on large pieces of paper, glue stick does work a little bit better because it glues flatter. With something like Bearly Arts, you get the little lines of the glue when you try to put it down, and it doesn't, I don't like that look. And look, my desk is so clean, I can't find my little spreader tool. It's here somewhere. I'm going to use a dirty one. Avert your eyes. These are dirty. In case you're wondering why they're dirty, I rebuilt a set of stairs before I moved here, and I used Gorilla Glue and wood paste, and I adhered it in some kind of a bit dodgy bits on a set of stairs. So I used those scrapers because they came from Dollar Tree, and they're like $1.25, and I didn't care how they turned out in the end. So yeah, they're a little dodgy. And then I'm just trimming this down. And this is the kind of reason that I have like little bits of paper like this left over when I'm done my journals. And that's why I often do master boards or collages at the end. Now this did warp a little tiny bit with the glue. So what I would do is I would put this underneath my mat and let it dry for a little while, probably while I worked on other ones, or just, you know, overnight or whatever. And then from here, you just put a little tag topper on it. I usually eyeball the middle, a bit like that. But now I'm not sure I trust myself to eyeball, like, so that I get things like even. So, eyelets you could put in, oh, look at, it's almost more of a rust brown color, but would that work? Is that too brown? Most of what I have, let's use a gold one. Oh, another little tip. Some of these are larger than your hole. So if they're larger than your hole, what you do, rather than trying to make your hole bigger with, I don't know, whatever, use your eyelet to make your hole bigger. Just like push it until it goes through, because it's sharp. Your eyelet is sharp. So just push it through and it'll make your hole bigger. Like automatically it's going to make your hole bigger. Also, it's lovely because it's not going anywhere. It's just going to sit there. From Camellia Craft Designs, she has a tip for what settings to use so that these never do that funny split thing. Your top whichever one the top is. You use A on the top and 2 on the base. Or the other way around. Whichever one is the A, you use the A on the top and the base is the 2. And it will always work. And then do make sure that you put it in the right way, not upside down. That your base is on the side that the roundy bit is not. And then just push. And then you can see that it does not split very much. This one split, I think, because it's a bit bigger. It's not a standard size one. It's a little bit bigger than normal. But normally they don't. So I will off camera do the fussy cuts on a couple, and then I will put a still shot at the end of all of these finished so that you can see what they look like. All right. So, after much inking and fussy cutting and whatever, oh, I forgot to put a little doohickey at the top of this one. Nice red from the Halloween candy box. I'm just going to grab one from the top. So that's what your eyelet should look like when it's done. I think the gold ones are bigger. So these are what I created out of that one panel from that Halloween candy box. This is from one of the collage pages in the background pages, and I cut her off. There were the 3 girls, but the 3 wouldn't fit on there, so I cut off 2 of them and put them on there with a fussy cut from the fussy cut kit, and I just think that's so adorably cute. The 2 tiny little ones, little piece of paper for free. Another tall one, put a Christmas tree behind them. I love these. They remind me of Christmas. They're so vintage. And then the last one. I just, they're quite thick because they came from a box, so they're very, very sturdy. And hopefully they'll fit. Usually I do tags at the very, very end, so hopefully these will fit somewhere within that envelope journal. But if not, when I do the giveaway, like when I give away that journal at the end as part of Rach and Bella's draw, these will go in as part of what's included in that journal. So until next time, I hope you have a lovely crafty evening, and I'll see you all later. Bye.